Dark shadows from the past are gone. A message from Anica of the League of Light. Beyond the edges of memory lay vast fields grown wild with neglect. For longer than you can recall, the gates to the field have been locked, the way to them forgotten, forbidden, empty but for spirits of the past. Many have tried to keep the memory of the fields alive. A fractured patchwork has survived, distilled into symbol and esoteric secrets. Some risen minds of late have gleaned anew the living sentience that has waited rediscovery. Long eons has the truth of your history been shrouded in shadow. The time has come for those shadows to dissipate, and in the liberated light of remembrance, for all to recognize themselves in each other. Somewhere within the long reaches of your lineage of soul is a spot where the shadows of forgetfulness took root. You feel some stirrings when you connect to certain of the world's stories, myths, rituals. Those who have cast the triggers of memory in such unyielding forms preserved etheric maps to finding the way to certain locked gates. Such are to be preserved if you are to know where particular secrets are hidden. However, no longer are you bound to the circuitous routes alone, for in rising light are rising energies to illuminate from within your understanding the secrets encoded therein. Dark shadows flee in the light of self illuminated. The figures which cast them have only to share their tale and be gone from the scene. Soon you will understand more fully the scale of these words. For now, know that a rising light already has fear looking for a way out. Once that is gone, what then? Shards of memory tantalize with the promise of remembrance. Soon you will taste the satisfaction which you can now only piece together with your intellect and intuition. Until such a time, we offer a tale, a telling of history, that you can more homeward direct yourselves. Shadows were never invited anywhere, but they always seem to show up unannounced. Thus has it been in the realms where light is a thing and energy compressed in resistance of its free passage. Never has this been so apparent in your world as it is now. Now, the shadows have taken form to the point at which they are losing their ability to hide. Soon you will be able to grab them without fear of losing yourself into their realm of loveless, empty madness. The shadows of which I speak are not the playful bends of perspective vis-à-vis light's source. Rather, I speak of the fearful specters which hide from that. There exist shadows which cannot bear the touch of light, which take on the weight of light's nature without its polarity shifting. Such shadows lean upon the idea of the antithesis of light, yet such a thing is not capable of sustaining it in service to a misconstructed doctrine. The end result is that the shadows either gather in more of light's inert nature, or they flee. You can help them make their decision to go, and maintain more light for your world. The time for making a choice is nearly upon you. You lack only a few pieces of understanding to move into the choice point fully capable of choosing from a clear perspective, unclouded by the obfuscation of lies and limited visibility. From there, you will be able to distinguish between the shadows and merely the effect of blocking your own light. You may be surprised at how often these two phenomena are confused. The light, ever present, shines without regard of who or what it shines upon. In truth, many shadows are born in such a way. An entity, standing with its back against the sun, sees only its shadow and thus believes itself to be unlovable. It cannot comprehend the absence of light to be caused by its own density, nor can it grasp how simple it could be to step laterally to shift its perception of reality. Of course, the further from the light source it is, the further it must move laterally to discern any difference. Those entities closer to the light source find subtle moves do the trick, but in truth, it is all very relative within the matrix of what you know as three-dimensional space. Let it be understood that the metaphor is universally applicable. Shadows abound in the world. So too do opportunities to adjust perspective in relation to one's own experience and the source of illumination. How rich with potential, how promising of satisfying change, and how challenging this is to know. At the moment when the shadows are supplanted by light, made real by a mere slide from a comfortable roost, everything that had been known suddenly is no more. At that point, everything must be reevaluated. History books would have to be rewritten. The future would have to be reassessed. Minds would have to change. So you see, the challenge involved is as real as the opportunity. They are, in fact, one. For eons of Earth time, what had been civilization was flourishing. There was some sense of order to structures of society and culture, which was a defining characteristic of that long ago period of light and splendor. Few echoes survive in an easily recognizable state, however. Decay takes its toll in many ways. Decay can also bring about the liberation of memory, as those structures of control likewise decay and disintegrate. At the point where the cracks in the structure become so great to maintain themselves, light will begin to pour through the breaches, and those who yet sleep will awaken. The time is not so far off now. More are ready. More are rising. What you have to remember now is the truth of who you are. You are not the projections of dark minds, nor are you the sum total of generations carefully engineered to fit into a master plan devoid of love and freedom. You are not the labels you wear or the thoughts you think within the chaos of conflicting bands of informational input. You are more than you have been allowed dare dream, more than you can fully remember. Now that changes. Once the barriers of memory are breached, nothing will ever be the same. Here is something for you to consider. The changes you see now represent the trend of the future. The more you resist, the more you will have to clean up. When change fully comes, complacency meets dynamic turnarounds. Whatever you think you have figured out will be put to the test, tried, and either remain purified and strengthened, or it will simply cease to be. The best way forward for you is to accept the truth of your divinity, your place among the family of interstellar humanity, and accord yourselves the love which you have discerned to be missing from the population of humanity on this world. We suggest you begin with this, as it will greatly simplify what follows. Remembrance is something which carries with it the transformative effect of reintegration. What you remember becomes a trigger. You can choose to detach yourself from what has been holding you back, as if you had snagged your sweater on a splinter. Unsnag yourself and move on. Thus you free yourself from time. You grant yourself the free access to all that you have the natural right to experience with your whole self, all in one piece. By smoothing out your energetic snags, you have free access to more possibilities. This is one way to deal with a level of remembrance. A more refined level of remembrance extends the tendrils of thought into the course of time as fluid streams of awareness. As fluid, awareness cannot become hooked onto splinters, nor wounded by traumatic encounters with events on the temporal continuum. As you travel along the currents of awareness, as you revivify remembrance of experiences you have had, seek the point within the moment in which you find forgiveness. Ultimately, as you decide to find that point, you will see that you must relax. As you relax, your awareness flows more freely. You can choose to understand or not. However, the experience will surely give you insight into finding a state where forgiveness opens experience, so you can become more free in your intention and more mature in your understanding. This is not to condone perceived injustice, but to be not bound by it. This is relevant to remembrance and to turning collective attention to a shared understanding of history. All is not what it seems on the surface of what passes for such understanding now. Some cracks are damaging the foundation of what has been presented as authoritative knowledge. That will soon become discarded completely as it falls in the rising awareness. While it disintegrates, do what you can to unsnag yourselves, individually and collectively, from what remains of the lies and become more fluid in your awareness. You won't want to be stuck anywhere, nor left holding any grudges. Those will be of little use where you're headed. When the truth about who you are as a planetary population reaches the point of undeniability, your world will undergo rapid change. You will be confronted with challenging information, new perspectives, and radical shifts in reality. No more will you be able to hide within the comfort of what you had held as sacred. What truly is sacred will be right before you, to confront and to understand. We are present as planetary neighbors to help the process of transformation into fully cognizant humans be as benign as it can be. We have long awaited, and long have we fostered the arrival of your future selves as a moment of divine recognition. You are nearly there as a global humanity. We are nearly there as kin come to take part in the blossoming. When the past and future meet, time will come to a new reckoning. No more will you count epochs according to wars, rulership, or primacy of cultural influence. All of these measures will culminate and close. Dynasties will give way to a new set of circumstance, and time will be liberated from its orbit around the central point of phase. As it is, you define now as point of reference. Liberation of the consciousness shifts the point of reference to a continuum of understanding, so that the experience of now becomes phase-shifted into a new concept, enveloping and extending the core understanding. Time is about to end, as you know it. History, too. All you know is about to be phase-shifted. We anticipate our reunion with you as the coming changes bring our worlds again into contact. Much goes without saying until time opens the free exploration of a greater reality that comes. Know that the machinery of time follows the movement of your conscious awakening. Indeed, they go hand in hand. You have come to the choice point, where the now that you all share asks for your complete attention. Give yourself permission to be free, to inherit the legacy of the truth, and to enter into an expanded understanding of who you are. Our arrival is imminent and begins within the essential now. It is up to you to position yourself within it accordingly. We will meet you there, in peace, with love and respect, to give you the map that has been missing from view. Whatever you choose in regard to this communication, history is at the brink of collapse. Our friendship, our kinship, is very real. As time and history shift into a new field of perspective, this will become more apparent. In the meantime, in your now, know we await, that we greet you as kin, friends, and neighbors, and that you all are very much beloved. Be gentle with each other and with yourselves, and find your strength therein. I am Anica, in service with the League of Light. I bid you peace. Emerge.